finally ran into a group of people that were starting this theater company called the Labyrinth Theater Company. I got involved with the Labyrinth Theater Company play reads, and it was a bunch of actors who weren't getting a lot of work, and they were decided, look, we're gonna form a company and produce and do our own plays. 2 years into this, I looked across the room and it was a familiar face. It happened to be this actor, Philip Seymour Hoffman. And I remembered him at the time for one movie he had did called Twister, I believe. It was about a hurricane or a tornado or something like that. But my friend Stephen Adley Giergis, who ended up being a Pulitzer playwriting, award-winning playwright, wrote this play with this role and decided that Phil would direct it. And it was at that point that I met Philip Seymour Hoffman that the trajectory of my career instantly shifted. Because when I met him and we started talking about this role, and it was a very heavy role, what I started to learn was I didn't really know anything about acting. I knew that I had some type of technique. I knew that I could memorize lines. I knew that I could display my feelings. I knew that I could do those things, but what I realized was that I knew nothing about acting, about the process, about the craft of it, about what it takes to assimilate a script, to take apart a script, to put it back together, what actioning is, what your goal is, what your character structure is. I mean, all these elements were brought into my life through working with him and him directing me. And I realized the totality of what I wanted to do and the type of actor that I wanted to be was going to take some time. And it was going to take a lot of study and hard work. But at that point, I was willing to do it. Now, the difficult part was learning how to define for myself what it means to be successful, not getting it confused with fame and fortune. And that's what I started to understand about Phil, and what he gave me is an understanding of be clear about how you define yourself as an actor, and understand that if you want to do great work, you have to study great work. If you want to be a great actor, you have to have the knowledge and carry yourself and do the things that it takes to be a great actor. And that's what I started to do. I knew in my heart that if I wanted to be an actor, it had to be that way. It had to be the way of what we call the way of the samurai. It had to be the way where you go and you learn and you read and you study and you learn how to pull layers, so that by the time I walked into the room of This Is Us, I already felt successful. I already felt successful. So the fear was gone. I knew that I could do the work. Now it was just a matter of, do they want a successful actor? Someone that could really do this role in a way that they didn't even realize I could. And Dan Fogelman recognized that. And 2 days later, after I booked the role, one audition from New York, without having to come to LA, without having to do a screen test, without having to do anything else but that one audition in New York on tape. And 2 days later, he sent me an email saying, Ron, there wasn't one false move in that whole audition. And I knew when I saw your tape that you were my guy. So culminating this for all to say is stay true to yourself. It taught me to stay true to myself, to realize that I am the one who defines my success.